Well, Welshie, congratulations on taking on the role of presidency. Obviously a familiar face for Essendon fans already, but can you speak to what compelled you to take on the role and really step into this during this time?
Yeah, thanks. It's a real honour for me to be voted in as president of the Essendon Football Club, a place that it really gave me an identity when I was younger and drafted to the club. It helped build lifelong friendships, connections, but also is part of who I am and how I go about my day-to-day life. My enjoyment getting back with the football club has been extremely enjoyable, although very challenging at times and a lot of things to work through. Working through those items to get us to where we are now is a really stable club, a really strong club, really energises me and excites me for this next phase we're about to embark on.
You mentioned those items. Can you speak a little bit to the long-term vision for you as president of this football club and what you sort of see as the key metrics in terms of establishing that foundation for us to be successful?
Yeah, Dave's done such a fantastic job leading the club over the last 3 years to really give us this stable platform that we're on. And I don't want people to feel being stable, you need to be safe. We need to continue to take risks now that we are stable on and off field. So what are we looking at corporately? How are we looking at embracing our fans, our supporters, and really bringing them along the journey, which we've done so well so far, because they are the best in the country. You hear our players talk about it every week, and they really are, so that's really important. And I want to look from our football programs, how we can continue to invest in those areas. We've got the best 1 and 2 combination in the high performance area with our men's program now, and continue to invest more in our women's program. So we have the ability now to build off this foundation that's been led by David Barham to really push quickly up the ladder on the field, but really up the ladder off the field by looking at new opportunities and taking more risks now that we're stable.
And you offer a bit of a unique lens compared to some other club presidents in your playing career, but then also with the business career that you've established away from it. Can you speak about that unique perspective that you bring to the role now and what you think you can expect to see from that?
Yeah, it was a big thing for me once I finished playing to move away from football altogether. I really enjoyed my time in the media, working with Channel 7 and Triple M through that period. It gave me my football kick that I needed, but wasn't involved day to day with a football club. So through that period, I got to learn many different skills that now has placed me well, firstly as vice president, and I think will as president from here moving forward. So when Dave approached me a few years back to come onto the board, I was unsure. The first 12 months were tough, but what that reminded me of is I never lost my passion for the Essendon Football Club. I just forgot how good this football club is and how good the people are, how good the fans are, and how much it can enrich your family's life and your friend's life by being part of the Essendon Football Club. So I'm really focused on making sure that people are proud to play here, to work here, and to follow this club.
You mentioned that pride that you feel in the football club still and how that never sort of went away for you. In those last couple of years now, being on the board, Director of Football Governance, how has that in a way sort of altered your perspective on the football club, and how do you sort of assess where we're at now based on that from your playing career?
Yeah, I feel that the club is really balanced now in all areas of the football club, on and off the field. There were some tough calls that needed to be made in the football department this year around the high performance area. You can look at the positives. We had 15 debutants, but you don't want to be in that position. A number of rising stars, another positive, but we don't want to be in that position. So we've fixed that. We think that area on field for the men's program is going to be enormously successful. The players are feeling energised by those appointments now. So really comfortable with what we got in a position there, and we're continuing to go and talk to really good people, really successful professional people, both on and off the field, around joining our club in different roles.
The key touch point from our board perspective down all the way through to the club in the last few years has been building for the long term. You mentioned that balance that we have as a football club now. How do you balance that sort of shift for long-term success with, I suppose, some of the impatience around wanting that short-term hit and wanting to have that success now?
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting opportunity where we are now with the foundation and stability that we have. We can start really building on that. I feel the fans' frustrations and want of success. I'm an Essendon supporter, I go home every day after a game and the kids are deeply concerned around us not winning football games. So, we are doing everything that we possibly can, and we'll continue to take risks to make sure that we are sitting ahead of the foundations that have been laid to make sure that we are ready to go when our opportunity comes on field with the list that we're building, but also off field, how we're looking at other areas to continue to challenge each other to make this club great again.
And there probably is that feeling of disgruntlement around some long-term supporters of the football club just based on the challenging times that we've been in over the last decade or so. What are your plans in terms of reigniting that passion within the fan base, and I suppose even speaking to your relationship with them directly as well?
Yeah, I really enjoy the engagement with the fans. Thankfully, I've been involved with the club for 25 years now as a player, then as purely a supporter and member, life member, and more recently as the board and now as president. So I enjoy those engagements with the fans. They're very honest, they're very proud, they're very passionate. But most of them also been part of the times when this club had been really successful on field, and they felt what this club means to them at those points in time, and that's what we want to be getting back, is that on-field success, which ultimately enriches everyone's life, and people proud to say who they barrack for, and that's the Essendon Football Club.
And you've touched on this year and how you sort of viewed it holistically. Can you also touch on a little bit your relationship with the football department, in particular figures like Brad Scott, Natalie Wood, people who are around, and how that sort of evolved over the course of the last couple of years?
Yeah, so as chair of football governance, we catch up regularly with Nat and Brad and Dan McPherson, Craig Vozzo, Dave Barham and Dean Solomon. So Aisha Ward is also part of that. So we have deep conversations around the governance of the football department areas and areas we need to be monitoring, areas they need more support in. And both of those are fantastic coaches. Nat's doing a great job with our W program. And Brad, in the face of adversity with implementing football programs, but not really having the players this year due to injury to actually implement that, the way he's gone about it has been outstanding. And he continues to have our full support of a board, of myself, Dean Solomon, the other past player on the board, because Brad has done such a fantastic job so far, and we're going to continue to support him to make sure that he's getting that support now we need, and that the players are on the field or on the training paddock. That gives him the ability to actually deliver on his football outcomes.
And you step into the role at a pretty intriguing time for our football club in terms of the external pressure that's sort of been coming on in recent weeks. Can you maybe speak to the Zach Merritt situation and how it sort of unfolded from your lens?
Zach's a champion of our club. He's a great guy. He's an Essendon person. And we have spoken publicly and continue. Zach's a required player. He's contracted to the club, so we won't be entertaining any trade for Zach. And at the core of it, I think Zach is such a fantastic Essendon person that I'm confident come pre-season that he's going to add significant value through these recent experiences for the group.
And as a final one, if there's anything that you'd like to say to Essendon supporters that you haven't already touched on, or anything that's been sort of pressing, something that you really wanted to spill out for them, what would that be?
I'm really excited, really energised. I will go back to, we have got a great foundation that's been led by David Barham to get us to this point. We are not going backwards from here. We now have the opportunity to accelerate forward, both on and off the field. And the transition process that's been put in place for a number of months now for Dave to feel when that time was right, which he has felt now, is a good opportunity for us as a club to galvanise internally, us for our members and supporters, past players, corporates to galvanise externally, because the Bomber Army, when we're together, we're formidable and we'll get places quicker when we're together and stable. And I'm really looking forward to leading that.